There are moments in life when the air gets sucked out of the room, when you realize, in an instant, that nothing will ever be the same. For me, that moment came when my 18-year-old daughter, 5 months pregnant, looked me straight in the eye and said, "You did this to me, and now you're going to raise this baby." I stood frozen in the kitchen, clutching the counter. My heart pounded in my chest. "Excuse me?" She crossed her arms, her belly slightly visible under her hoodie. "You refused to put me on puberty blockers. You forced me into a female puberty. And because of that, I got pregnant. This is your fault. So you're going to fix it." For a few seconds, I genuinely thought I had misheard her. She wanted me to raise her child because I didn't stop her from growing up as a woman? I took a slow, deep breath. Let me get this straight. You had unprotected sex. You threw away the birth. Control pills I got for you. You ignored every possible way to prevent this. And now, you want me to raise your baby? The one you call your sibling? She lifted her chin defiantly. Yes, that's when I lost it. Absolutely not. She stormed off to her room, slammed the door, and locked herself inside, wailing loudly. 12 hours later, she was gone. My daughter first told me she was non-binary at 16. Some days, she wanted to be called he. Some days, they. Other days, she said she felt like neither. She expected me to ask every morning what the pronoun of the day was. I put my foot down. "I'll call you whatever you want, but you have to tell me. I'm not playing a guessing game every day." For a few weeks, she made a big deal out of it, correcting me, getting frustrated if I forgot. Then, she stopped. She went back to she. She continued wearing dresses, putting on makeup, and never mentioned hormones. So I thought she had moved on. Apparently I was wrong, because now she was using it as a weapon. A few days after she disappeared, she texted me. "We need to talk." IHOP. 7 p.m. Bring an open mind. When I arrived, my stomach twisted. She wasn't alone. Sitting next to her was him, her partner, the father, the sperm donor. I recognized him immediately. A few years ago, he had been a friend from high school. Back then, he was an awkward, creepy teenage boy. Once, while I was walking past their friend group, he locked eyes with me and made loud, exaggerated orgasm sounds. Another time, I caught him standing behind me, pretending to jerk off. I kicked him out of my house that day. Now, here he was, sitting across from me, smirking like he had won something, and he did all the talking. "You poisoned her with birth control. You refused to give her hormones when she needed them. You are an abusive, controlling mother, and it will take years to undo the damage you've done. And yet, somehow, I was still supposed to raise their child." I turned to my daughter. "Why can't you take care of the baby yourselves?" Sperm donor answered for her. "Her parents are even worse than you." "Of course. You will never see this baby if you don't agree to raise it," he sneered. I pushed my chair back, stood up, and looked him dead in the eye. Then I guess I'll never see it. And I walked out. Months passed. No calls, no texts, just silence. Then the rumors started. People told me she was living in a homeless encampment, out in the woods in a community of meth addicts, traffickers, and lost souls. I drove past the camps, searching for her. But it was dangerous. People had been shot at for getting too close. I had no idea if she was alive until one day. She showed up at my door. I almost didn't recognize her. Her once clear skin was covered in small tattoos. Her hair was filthy, her clothes baggy. Her eyes darted wildly as she spoke, her words tumbling out too fast, too erratic, too manic. She didn't mention the baby once. Instead, she ranted about how she and sperm donor were building a new world. "We are creating the next generation," she said, her eyes shining. "The old world is dying. The new world is coming." She spoke in circles, rambling about higher callings, and pure souls. And that's when I knew. She was in a cult. I let her stay because what else could I do? She was still my daughter. But she treated me like a servant, demanding food, money, rides. She trashed the house. Then one night, she went into labor. At the hospital, it all unraveled. She hadn't been to a single prenatal appointment. She was cruel to the nurses, spitting vile insults, calling them names I won't repeat. She screamed at them, demanding painkillers, calling them peasants. When they tested her for drugs, she was clean. This wasn't the drugs talking. This was her. She gave birth that night. A healthy baby against all odds. And then, as soon as she could stand, she left. Didn't sign papers, didn't say goodbye, just walked out. The baby was legally considered abandoned. CPS asked if I wanted to take custody. I looked at that tiny, innocent child, the baby of my daughter, the baby of a man who saw me as an enemy, the baby of a mother who had no intention of returning, and I said no. I know people will judge me. I know some will say, you should have taken the baby. But if I did, I would be trapped. Trapped in my daughter's toxic cycle. Trapped in sperm donors' manipulative games. And the truth is, I don't think I did. A great job with my own daughter. She is now back with her cult, waiting for the next pregnancy, the next child, the next victim. I did everything I could. Now, all I can do is wait, and wonder if she'll ever wake up, and hope that, at the very least, her baby gets the chance that she threw away. I don't know what happens next. Maybe one day she'll come back, broken but ready to be saved. Maybe she never will. But one thing, I know for sure. I am done being her safety net. Her choices are her responsibility now. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so, and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more shocking real-life stories happening around you.